What's a hack in your industry that customers aren't supposed to find out? When I worked as a pharmacy tech, I spent a lot of time calling insurance companies and waiting on hold while the world burned around me. One time I got impatient with the voice recognition bot because it kept hearing background noise and made selections impossible, so I started cursing it out. Turns out if you say the F word a few times in a short span, the bot recognizes you as an angry customer and will switch you to a representative real quick. I did this multiple times to a lot of strange looks from my co-workers until I explained the hack. Consulting, we don't know either. Most industries have retention teams because it costs 10x more to get a new customer than it costs to keep one you have. So if you call up and complain/threaten to cancel every other time they raise your rates, they'll probably give you the introductory rate. Just be aware you might have to switch. Edit threaten to cancel added. Our physical presence/approach toward the user will sometimes fix the problem they are facing without any additional effort. IT support. Hospital bills are negotiable, to a degree. Always ask for an itemized bill and put some effort into analyzing it. Not sure if your homeowner's insurance will cover something? Apply this one simple rule. Was the damage caused by a sudden and one-time occurrence? If the answer is yes, 99% of the time you're covered. If the answer is no, 99% of the time you're not covered. This advice applies to the US. Sometimes teachers do just pull grades out of their ass. If you know you're shipping something within a few hours drive of you, always pay for the cheaper shipping option. The premium shipping option is just a markup if you know you're sending something close by. It will arrive the same day regardless. I work in IT and can confidently say that providing bribery in terms of food or snack will 100% get your issue taken care of faster and will help you jump the line in the ticket queue. If you use Libby to download ebooks from your library to your Kindle, you can turn it to airplane mode and keep the books as long as you want. The next person in line is not affected. If you buy flights through Spirit at the airport, one of the random fees, it's called the user fee or something like that, doesn't apply, so they cost like half as much. I've flown round trip to Chicago for $30, Houston for $45, Miami for $50, etc. Any Marriott booking made partially with points, with a 3-day cancellation policy, can be cancelled the same day of the booking without any fees. Premium tire filling using nitrogen instead of atmospheric air has almost no research to back it up. There is basically no difference between the two. I must now add that there is no difference for the average consumer, but there are certain applications where it makes sense. It's just a way for tire shops to charge you an extra $50. If you're nice to my receptionist, I will find a way to squeeze you onto my schedule. If you're AB, then you can have whatever the next available appointment is. If you make the office staff cry, you get a certified letter firing you from the practice. The root password is root. When a car salesman offers you a premium car care package, don't buy it. It's a scam. Say you're buying a new car and I offer you the premium car care package. It'll only cost you X amount of money per month, but every time you come to the dealership, you get / premium car wash, we hose it down, not a proper car wash. / interior detailing and rejuvenation, we use compressed air to make the dust go away, sometimes a man uses a wet paper towel. / functions check and clock synchronization, check if all the lights work, heater and A/C work and set up the clock if it's wrong. / summer and winter inspection and free wiper fluid refill, only done once per season. Check tire thread, visually check tire pressure, look at temperature gauge to make sure car isn't overheating and add water in the summer, tiny amount of wiper fluid in winter, visually inspect brake discs to see they are not scratched by worn out brake pads. / assistance when you are on the move, you call us and then we can call a tow truck for you, at your expense, Only possible during business hours. Basically, we charge for simple things you can do yourself. Also, if a car dealership sells you a used car and they told you it has been fully serviced, take it to your local mechanic and have it serviced properly. Tree surgery. If you hear the term ARB paint, it's just mud. Name brand packaged salads and generic supermarket branded packaged salads come off the exact same production line, using the exact same raw materials. The difference is just the packaging. Used to make missile parts that were being sold to Lockheed Martin. The parts had extremely tight tolerances that my company found hard to meet, because the machine programmer sucked. Eventually we had about 100 parts that were within tolerance. The inspection guy decided it was a good idea to keep them as the golden girls. And every time Lockheed would send someone for source inspection, he would inspect these same 100 parts in front of them every time. So the company was knowingly lying so they could send out of tolerance parts to be used in missiles. Lockheed must have never caught on, cause that was like 4 years ago and they still are making the same parts for them. If you want to extend your free trial and receive discounts, contact their customer support and ask for membership cancellation. They'll be more than happy to give you extensions plus free gifts in your next order. Same thing applies if you want a discounted membership fee, just call on the day your membership will stop. This was 6 to 7 years ago, so may not be relevant, but when I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, the higher-ups were so tunnel-visioned on positive customer reviews that if there was any problem at all we would write off anything from gas to whole days of rentals. We had a few repeat customers that would catch on and habitually complain about dumb shit to get parts of the bill discounted. Only a rating of completely satisfied counted, and it was tied to bonus and promotion, so a huge incentive to make people happy. Press 2 for Spanish. 90% of the time the people manning the Spanish lines are bilingual, and the wait times aren't nearly as long. This is more like an unethical life hack, but it is true. They would prefer you not find out about / do it. In medicine, if you tell your primary that your previous PCP ordered a test, gave you a medication, placed a referral, etc., and that you need to have it represcribed / ordered again, you can get your primary to order, or at least consider ordering, damn near anything. At least if it's not a controlled substance or an expensive unusual diagnostic study. The problem is that offices absolutely suck at transferring their records to each other, and confirming that story takes a huge amount of time. For example, if you have knee pain and tell me that your primary diagnosed you with a specific knee issue years back and that you went to PT and it felt better last time, and I'm sitting in your chart not able to find any record of that, will I spend 10+ minutes of time trying to hunt down previous records to confirm this history, obtain reports from physical therapy about the specific exercises you were doing and any imaging studies you had and whatever else? Will I have you come in for what, as far as I can tell, is an appointment to reassess a known diagnosis that someone else already appropriately diagnosed and treated? Or will I click a button that takes 5 seconds to get you the appointment with PT that you want that solved your issue last time, completely unaware that the history I was given was completely fabricated? The reality for something benign like a visit to PT is that there's just not enough time to do anything besides send that order and move on. Academic here: to get a PDF of a paper you can usually email the author and ask for one. The times I've tried this they've been happy to share. After, if it's available on https://oa.mg, oa.mg, of course. Most IT departments are tragically understaffed, so they're not making you wait on your request for fun. Unless you're an ass to them, then they're definitely making you wait for fun. They're also laughing about it. If you do want your request moved to the top of the queue with some regularity, a box of donuts left in the IT department once or twice a year is usually all it'll take. Also, not being an ass. If you're in Canada, and have a retail trading account, and want to convert CDN cash to US, depending on the urgency of the conversion, if you don't need it now, and it is a significant amount, don't just convert it over, and pay your bank between 1.5% to 3% on the exchange. DLR and DLR.U are one-day settlement securities. DLR is CDN, DLR.U is US currency. Buy the DLR. Next business day, transfer it to the US side of your account. Sell DLR.U in the US account. It takes the DLR and covers. That way you only pay whatever your commission is on the buy/sell, you don't pay the conversion rate. As I'm typing this, spot rate on the market is 1.36. My firm is charging 1.39 if you just transfer over directly. Anything that is going to cost you less than $20 on exchange rate, go ahead and just transfer over. But if you are transferring, i.e. 10,000 CDN to US, there's a difference of $280. If you are planning ahead, buy the DLR, then transfer it over on settlement, sell the DLR.U, you only pay the commission of $20 on the buy/sell. You are also looking at a 3-day movement. If it's a rush, sucks to be you pay the extra rate. If you have a margin account, you can do a true Norbert's Gambit and buy today, initiate the transfer, and put the sell order today, so that it cuts a day out, buy settles, gets transferred immediately, to cover the sell that settles the same day, but most retail outlets require you to do this through their phone brokers, so you have to pay the broker rate on the one side of the transaction, so it's more expensive. They do this to try to encourage you to do the transfer manually yourself in your account, so that they make the $280 off you. It pays to plan. Electric guitars made out of fancy expensive wood will sound exactly the same as guitars made out of cheap wood. The electronics system is what makes electric guitars sound different from one another, not the fancy AAAAA flamed maple top. It's pure aesthetics. At GameStop, if you get a pre-owned controller and get the warranty, you can come back a year later, get a fresh pre-owned controller and just have to pay the warranty cost again. This used to work with new controllers, but the policy changed. Therapy cash pay rates are negotiable at many private practices if you are uninsured or your insurance does not cover behavioral health. IT support, you can fix 90% of your problems by turning hardware off and on again. Also, if you are nice to us instead of being horrible, we will fix your problem faster. IMO customer support is not paid enough for all the shit they have to deal with. Customers are very fucking rude through the telephone. I'm a teacher. You can learn anything you want now from the internet if you have the willpower. Teaching continues to exist because most humans learn best with someone to hold them accountable and human interaction. That said, especially with YouTube, if you have a little patience and aren't afraid of trial and error, you can literally learn anything. When IT or tech support asks you to restart your computer, it could be to apply a fix they made in the back end, or it could be buying them time, for any number of reasons. 1. They applied a fix and it just takes time to sync up, the reboot just prevents the awkward silence of waiting. 2. They're not sure what the problem, or solution, is, so they're hoping a reboot fixes it. If not. 3. They're buying time to think or research. Oh, and if you say that you've already restarted, do yourself a favor and follow their instructions. After all, you called them for help. If you didn't want or need their help, you wouldn't have called. Disclaimer, this does not apply to all techs or interactions with same. Bartender here. If you're at an event with an open bar or something similar, tip $20 cash on your first drink and introduce yourself to your bartender, if it isn't crazy busy. Give them the cash and say some variation on, "Hey X, good to meet you, my name's Mike. I'm going to be drinking your drink order all night. Thanks for taking care of us at this event. Guarantees good service, skipping the line, etc. You can do most maintenance on your own car. I'm a professional mechanic and my best resource for information is a quick YouTube search. Computer engineer here. We ship so many products that have broken features. The product is fused at the factory to disable features that just didn't bake fully before we needed to ship. Every product I ever worked on has a half dozen bugs that we could have fixed if only we had more time and money. Eventually you have to say it's good enough and ship something to make money. Teacher here, if you don't let your kids bring a phone to school they will probably fucking learn something. Something no one seems to understand in 2024. Treat the customer service representative kindly. Everything I originally stated afterwards has been redacted because Redditors love to miss the point. Be kind. The end. Not really a hack, and it may not even be a secret at this point, but most, if not all steel mills in the US import steel slabs from all over the world and then roll them into coils or whatever with them and sell it as American made so they can slap that sticker on whatever it's used for to make people who care about that happy. I work for a nationwide steel supply company. We sell the same plate of steel sometimes up to 6 or 7 times. What do I mean by that? Say you need a ring of steel that is 5 feet in outer diameter and 4 feet inner diameter. That leaves 4 feet in the middle being cut out of it. Well, you're not just buying the ring. You're buying the whole piece of steel used to cut that ring out of. The piece that comes out from the middle and the corners are called drops. If you don't request we ship the drop to you, then we do not. You get a ring and we get a 4-foot circle of steel to sell again or multiple times if we can keep cutting it. Customer is a bit of a stretch here, but I work on federally funded research, so in a way my customer is the tax-paying public. Universities take up to 50% of all federal grants as overhead. Half of the money the NIH sends for cancer research or vaccine studies instead lines the pockets of talentless administrators. Then when we, at long last, finish our experiments and analysis, we need to pay journals to host our work. So that people pay them to read our work. We don't see a cent. Finally, when that's all said and done, after admin cuts budgets in half to pay the football coach, and the journal charges us another $10K for editors who they didn't pay, it goes to the pharma companies and hospitals, who take this federally funded work, and sell it back to the taxpayer. Research is a fucking scam. Everyone except the admin of universities, journals, and hospitals suffer. If you have a child or friend who wants to go into science, tell them it's not worth it. Have it as a hobby, not a job.